All right. Thanks, Todd. Hey, everybody. Good morning. How you doing? I'm not a morning person, so I totally get it. Let's try that again. Good morning. Woo! Thank you, because I need your energy so I can do my presentation without boring all of you to death. So I appreciate that. So you guys might know me from around here. I post cat photos on the internet. We have an entire company of people that does that. We also run sites like Failblog and all that. And I'm going to tell you a story about the belly of the beast. The proverbial getting through the tough part, getting out of it, how to build a great company from when you feel like you don't have what it takes. And I think we all go through that. The imposter syndrome is real, right? It's not a fake thing. We all feel it. And I've been able to actually do this now for 7 years. And so hopefully I'll share with you how that works. That is the beast. You're in it. We're all in it. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be in the belly of the beast. And a friend of mine said this recently to me, the only way out is through. There's no turning back. Right? You can't take the time back. So you go in the front, come out the end. So the only way out is through. I didn't realize I was going to say that in front of a cat photo, so that'd be kind of weird. Whatever mental image you have, fantastic. So this is my company. I run this company called Cheezburger. We post funny things on the internet. We started back in 2007. I bought this website of cat pictures. A bunch of angel investors, some of you in this room, funded me. You crazy people. And it worked out. Right, so we ended up creating this industry that you know today as viral media. We were one of the precursors. We were one of the first companies in the world to actually say, this might actually work. The truth of the matter is, I didn't know if it was going to work, but we just kind of figured it out. So we bought Failblog. We started a site called Memebase. We bought Know You Meme back in 2011, so we've either acquired or built our own websites to the way we are today. And what was funny is that I had a moment in November of 2010 where I was approached by a bunch of venture investors. So until November of 2010, we had not taken any money outside of angel money that we started out with. And so they said, do you want to sell or do you want to continue to build the company? Right? Some of us will probably be lucky enough to approach a point where this is a positive outcome. Whether you can sell for millions of dollars and go home and go play golf. I don't know, what do we do here? Not golf, but something like that. Or we continue to build. And so what do you do? What do you do as an entrepreneur? Because part of you is the investor. Part of you is the person who wants to maybe take the money and go home. The other part of you is the entrepreneur who just wants to build something amazing. If you take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in the bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Now, you're probably going to guess that I took the path down the rabbit hole. Because for me, we hadn't really fulfilled our mission. This is our mission. For Cheezburger, we want to make the world happy for a few minutes every day. That's it. That's all we want to do. And that mission was nowhere near complete. We were growing, we were kicking ass, we were actually making money. We were cash flow positive, turning a profit, whatever accounting method you want to use, we were still turning a profit, right? We were paying federal corporate taxes as a startup. That's an accomplishment. So, some of the accountants in here get it? All right, so, the reason we believed in what we were doing was that we believed that platforms were more powerful than media. This is still back in like 2010 when we weren't so sure about this stuff, but we had a belief that your friends and the stuff that they talked about was much more relevant to your life than viral content. And that expression, self-expression, whether how good or bad, how many people it attracts or not, was much better than clickbait. So we believed in all these things. Unfortunately, we were about 5 years late to building Facebook, okay? So we're like, well, what do we do? What do we do when we believe in these things, but our industry believes in the total opposite? How do we actually get through that? And everybody wants to believe, right? We thought belief was enough. We thought belief was like, well, this is a foundation, and if you have a great foundation, everything's going to be great. Maybe, but you also have to deliver. All right? You have to have the lofty goals of I want to believe, and everybody in your company wanted to believe, and everybody who came to interview at our company knew our mission statement. Like, that was amazing, but at the same time, you gotta do the grunt work of delivering on your business. Whether it's meeting your financial goals, or shipping the code, or engaging with your community, or developing a new product, you've gotta deliver on it every single day. So we actually couldn't deliver for a little bit. We figured out that going from a media company to a platform was super hard. Right? You talk about core competencies. You heard that term in corporate America. Well, core competency of posting photos on the internet is not the same thing as creating a platform for other people to post content on the internet. And so for 3 years, we actually tried to figure this out. We tested, we learned, we made a lot of mistakes. That's what a startup is. Well, we wanted to build a platform for you and your sense of humor. We call it LinkedIn for your sense of humor. Maybe Pinterest for your sense of humor? Uber for your sense of humor? I don't know. Something for your sense of humor that isn't what we were doing. And so we had to figure out, what does it mean? How do we let people do that? And so we came up with a list of things that you wanted to do, and we prioritized to build it. And last November, just a few months ago, we finally shipped the product we wanted to ship. 3 years. I took the red pill in 2010. I shipped a product in 2014. Right? Think about that journey. And a lot of it wasn't very fun. And along the way, we learned that having ambition isn't good enough. You need to be absolutely clear about what you are willing to not settle for and what you are willing to give up. Having raw ambition is great on paper, and I had a lot of raw ambition, but I couldn't deliver on it unless I could transform it into clarity. Minimalism is nice, but minimalism ends up, the ideal minimalism is like a white piece of paper. And nobody wants to visit a white piece of paper. Okay? So while I loved my personal style's minimalism, simplicity far trumped minimalism. And so we learned that. We made our site super, super clean, and turned out it was kind of boring. Strategy has to give way to listening. You can have the strategy all you want, but unless you can actually listen to your customers and tweak that strategy to actually match the marketplace, that's not going to be good enough. So these are the key lessons that we learned over the last few years. So I'll rewind, I guess fast forward to 2013. This is Atlas holding up the universe, right? I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this image in their mind that they are this focal point in which you can hold up everything about your company. And sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. And I was asking myself when, in 2013, I felt like I was holding up the universe, why did it get so fucking complicated? Because we were supposed to do this. That was our job, right? And I'm like, oh, the universe. This is the greatest lie that's ever told to entrepreneurs. You don't do this. You can't do this. You absolutely, positively cannot hold up the universe, at least not for long anyway. Right? There are times when you are necessary and needed, and you need to rise to the challenge, and all those things are true. But the universe, like your company, is held up by you and your team. And so if you sit there and think you're doing it, you're probably not using your team, or you have the wrong team with you. So 2014, I partnered up with a former Microsoft exec named Scott Moore, who's now the president and chief operating officer of the company. My job is to promote the company, to amplify our voice, but my job is not to run the day-to-day operations. It freed me up to do the things that I really wanted to do. It freed me up to do the things that I love doing, and that was really liberating. It was super liberating. I had to accept the fact that I wasn't the best day-to-day operator in the world. And my board's like, oh yeah, we knew that. That's okay. They actually invested in me getting coaching from a CEO coach. I actually see that person every month, and it is super, super deep, and it's really interesting because you get to re-examine who you are and what you can do to make the company better, and you get to try to pull your ego, at least the bad parts of it, out of the way. And the recovery plan was, let's bring back the fun. Let's bring back the joy, because we're supposed to be about fun. And if I'm sitting there with the weight of the world on my shoulders, then it's not fun anymore. So if I'm unhappy, I can't deliver on our mission of making the world happy for 5 minutes a day. So I started learning. I love learning. I forgot how to do that because I was so stressed out. So I got my pilot's license, and it was awesome. And I fly a plane around the Seattle area, and I remember how much fun it is to experience new things. And this was something that was sent to me by my CEO coach at the time, and I'll read it to you. One day, a Buddhist saint left his cave to gather firewood. When he returned, he found his cave had been taken over by demons. He tried forcefully to get them out of his cave, but the demons were unfazed. This is not a true story, just so you're aware. The saints let out a deep breath of surrender, knowing now that these demons will not be manipulated into leaving. He looked into the eyes of each demon and says, it looks like we're going to be here together. I open myself to whatever you have to teach me. In the moment, all but one disappears. One last huge, hairy, really ugly, fierce demon remains. So he lets go even farther. Eat me if you wish. He places his head in the demon's mouth, and that moment, the last demon bows and dissolves into space. This is about me and my fears, overcoming them. And sometimes I think we are told to overcome your fears, you must face it. And we think facing it is like fighting it. You have to really battle it out. Somebody has to win. Sometimes I think the best way to get rid of your fears is to just give in and recognize that you have these fears. I had fears of screwing up this company, of taking the 30-some million dollars I had raised and just blowing it all up. That's what happens when the world is on your shoulders, and that's what happens when you think that's true. But it's not. We have nothing to lose. We really have nothing to lose, and I'll show you in a little bit. So after that experience, my CEO coach sent me this email. Leadership emerged after some of the rite of passage. This is a book from Warren Bennis on becoming a leader, often a stressful one. This crucible is an essential element to becoming a leader. The individual brings certain attributes into the crucible and emerges with a new, improved leadership skills. Leaders emerge from their crucibles stronger and unbroken. I have no idea if this is true. Because when you're in it, when you're in the belly of the beast, even though you may be coming out the other end, I'm so sorry for that image, I should have not used that cat. You're coming out the other end, all right? The only way is through. You can't see yourself in the mirror. Every time you go through a crucible, you might not even recognize that it is a crucible. You may not recognize that you are a better leader until the next crisis. So I know that this is sometimes really difficult to see yourself as a CEO or entrepreneur or leader and to recognize that you have been changed. But I want you to know that I didn't know that either until another crisis came along and I realized that I'd gotten smarter and better because of all the people around me helped me through that crisis. So the last thing that I did after learning to do new things and getting coached was find joy in what I was good at. I'm the type of guy who works on stuff he's not good at because I want to shore up my weaknesses, right? So if I'm terrible at writing poetry, I'm going to spend all this time writing poetry, even if it's bad, because one day I'll be better. But they changed my perspective on this, that for me to be excellent at my company, that I have to learn how to be good at what I was good at. I think a lot of us do this. When we see problems in our organization, we jump in whether we're good or not. And my job was to find people good at doing that to fix the problem and for me to continue to work on my strengths. So I was uncomfortable with how famous the company got and how my name got out there with the company. And still, I'm a little uncomfortable with that. But I looked for more of that fame and attention because that was good for my business because we're a consumer business. And I was uncomfortable with it. Now, what I try to do is try to be famous on my own platform, try to gain followers. I try to be Tom on MySpace for Cheezburger, right? I want all my users to know who I am and to email me personally so we can have fun together, and that's okay. And I realize that I'm happy being creative or goofy or silly or whatever it is. And as CEO, people look at you and go, that guy's weird. That's okay. Nobody told you that had to be the CEO. People just assumed it. And you know what they say about assumption, right? So, they say it makes an ass out of you and me, just so that you're aware. Final tip here for the 3 lessons I learned, extra one. Learn to enjoy the grind. The grind sucks. It happens every day, but you actually start to see the beauty in it. Like the day-to-day, going to work, dealing with the crap, working with the emails. I tried something different with the grind. When I was busy, I told everybody in an autoresponder that said, hey, I'm busy. I'm probably not going to check your email unless you're part of the Cheezburger family. That cut email down by 60%. Trying those little new things, they don't seem that meaningful, but that's part of the grind. If you improve 1% a day, in a year, you'll improve 365%. 1% a day. That's the grind. If you make the grind a little bit less crappy, if you make the grind a little bit more productive, over a year it has a meaningful impact. I also, another bonus tip, lots of bonuses today for you guys. This is my happy place. I learned how to meditate. I know it's crazy, right? Yay, thank you. That's not, meditation's real. It actually helps with your brain. It's the science of it, not the crazy other parts. Like, what I want you to recognize is that being able to calm your mind as a leader is super important, and I learned how to do that because when you're in the belly of the beast, you got to figure out how to make the right decisions, and calming your mind really helps do that. And so for me, it's thinking of the universe and how tiny we are. That's my happy place, because it doesn't matter. Like, all that matters is for me to do the right thing for myself, for my people, for my family, for my team. That's it. What people think of what a CEO does and how a goofy CEO probably can't be a real CEO, that's BS. It doesn't matter, right? I want to figure out what matters to me, and that's my happy place. Fast forward to this year. Despite all that stuff, despite the fact that I'm much happier doing what I do, the reality still exists, unfortunately. If I was happy and if that brought me success, that'd be great, but that's only part of the story. You still have to deliver. The business hasn't changed. We still need to create the products to get more users, to do the right things for our customers, and I want to deliver. What happiness did to me was to make me want to deliver. It made me want to do my job better. So all of the stuff that I did prior was a setup, was a structure, so that I would want to wake up every day and want to deliver on that promise of making the world happy for a few moments. So I want to tell you a little bit about where we are today. This is a picture of Chinese-American gold miners in California from the 1800s. You probably have never seen this before because we don't remember these people. Right? We think of California gold miners like lumbersexuals, like big beards and, flannel. But these people mine gold. These are kind of my people. I'm Korean, but close enough. So we are participating in the 21st century version of the gold rush, and we probably will not be remembered by the future. Unless your last name starts with Musk and your first name starts with Elon, that's okay. We're still having fun, right? We get to do what we want to do, and if you're remembered, great. If not, we had fun doing it. Except there's a huge difference between them and us. Gold miners in the 1800s died, lots of them. If we screw this up, you will not die. In fact, you will probably be more experienced and probably will get a better job. Like, if you screw up at your startup, the most probable outcome is that you will receive a raise at a bigger company. So when you have that really, really stressful day and you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, just remember that. I'm gonna get a raise. I can't tell if what I'm doing at Cheezburger is important or unimportant, right? Just making people laugh in an app or helping people create memes and post photos that make their friends laugh. Like, I don't know if that's really important with a capital I or if it's not important. And I realized maybe the question doesn't matter. Maybe that's not the right question. Going back to the Matrix theme, there is no spoon. If somebody asks you whether what you're doing is important or unimportant, what they're doing is framing your question. And as entrepreneurs, we really want to answer and solve these puzzles. And so we get into the choice of, is X more important or is Y more important? And finally, what I realized is that sometimes, very often actually, the answer is none of the above. The answer is the one that is not on the answer sheet. And so when I was asking myself and struggling with the question of, is what I'm doing meaningful, is it important? The answer is, there is no spoon. Doesn't matter. The question doesn't matter as long as there are cats on the internet. You can download our app at get.cheezburger.com. Thank you very much.